This is exciting because this is kind of a different audience. I've been doing classes for years. I haven't had a class this size in a while. So I've been doing my Healing by Design classes on Monday mornings at 11, and I might have 2 people, and I might have like 12, like at the most. So this is kind of cool. And that series is actually ending Monday, and I'm not sure what we're going to do next. I'm in prayer because I know the Lord has big plans. But what's going on here is pretty exciting. So how many of you did the Pilates already? Was it good? Yeah? Awesome. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Well, the talk today is mainly just to introduce the new therapies that we're doing here, and just to kind of give you, man, and for me to do all this in 30 minutes is pretty crazy because I just talk a lot. But we started some new therapies, and it kind of shifted what we were going to do back here. That wasn't originally the intention, but I felt like the Lord highlighted it, He put it on my heart. And we've been big into nutrition and like eating by God's design and cleansing, and those things are awesome. But God is a God of energy. He's a God of life force. And I want to talk about energy and life force and vitality, and maybe in a way that hopefully makes sense to you guys. And then I want to talk to you about I'm going to watch a little video too. And I'm going to share 3 new therapies that we're introducing that anybody can do. One is iMRS, Intelligent Magnetic Resonance Stimulation. That's a mouthful. And we have an amethyst crystal mat. And then we have a far infrared sauna. So I'm going to do my best to cover all of those in a very short amount of time. But in general, I first want to talk about energy. What is energy? And it's basically the process of metabolism and how our cells are functioning. And it's really the life force and the vitality that's within a person. And I really feel like we have a wrong idea and understanding of what energy is. Because to us, energy, we see it as stimulation. We see it as coffee. We see it as sugar. We see it as things that stimulate the body, but that's not real energy. That's not real life force. It really depends on how well your body's working at the cellular level is what it comes down to. And I'm going to give you a couple examples, hopefully, that just make simple sense when it comes to vitality and life force. If you're young, really at any age, but let's say you're fairly healthy and somebody gives you a cigarette. What happens when you smoke that cigarette? You cough. You get sick. You're like, people smoke these things? Like, this is going to kill me. But what happens if you keep smoking those cigarettes? You get used to it. What does that mean? Your life force and your vitality drops. People don't understand this about health and nutrition. The medical industry doesn't understand this. Oh, that child has asthma and ear infections and allergies and all this stuff. Oh, he'll grow out of it. What does that mean? He weakens. His life force drops. Because while he's fighting and having allergies and having responses and having sickness, his body's fighting. The way God designed us is to heal and to always try to increase our energy and our life force as long as we're aligning with the things that God gave us. And alignment with the things God gave us is Genesis 1:29, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. It's exercise. It's what you're doing today. It's sunshine. It's fresh air. That's how you have energy. That's how you have life force. You know how we destroy that? Pollution. You stay inside. You eat foods that short-circuit the body. We're talking about energy today. You want to short-circuit your body? Drink soda. It'll short-circuit your body and it'll kill you. Eventually. Why? Because it lowers your life force and it short-circuits your system. I mean, God designed us with nerves and a nervous system and a system of water and minerals that communicate. We're electrical. We're electrical beings. Okay, and you don't hear a lot of Christians talk about that. I mean, I do, and I really feel like the Lord's really leading me into this understanding of energy and energy medicine and who we really are. You know, when God spoke in Genesis and created everything, it was His spoken word. It was vibrational energy. You know, if you don't believe in energy or vibration, or you don't believe you're electrical, then, you know, put your finger in a light socket. You're electrical. That's how they check your heart. EKGs, EEGs. It's vibrational energy. So we're resonating at vibrational energy. And the goal is to increase that and increase our life force. And most of what we do in our culture and our society decreases and dumbs us down and weakens our body and weakens our life force. Food is probably the biggest contributor to the destruction of mankind. I've said that many times in many of my classes, and I firmly, firmly believe that. But what is vibration? What is energy? What is prayer? It's vibrational energy. What is music that you love? You can't see it. It's vibrational energy. So what these new therapies are that I'm bringing in are things that increase the vibrational energy of the human body. And again, the more we embrace the things of God and the things that He gave us. Now, should we have to have all this stuff? I'll be honest with you, no. You know what we need is we need God and we need a garden. But we've lost that. We've left the garden. We live in cities. We make man-made everything. And we embrace the man-made stuff and we wonder why we're so sick. And that's the medical system, it's the pharmaceutical industry, and again, you know, I'm not saying they don't save lives once in a while, but most of what that system does is destructive and contrary to God's purposes and designs of the human body. And so we just need to get back to the garden, and that's something I've been crying for years. Is just get back to the garden, get back to the Garden of Eden, get back to doing things that increase energy and life force in this vessel that God designed in His image. And most of what we're doing is destructive to that. So I'm just going to end with that. I'm going to show you this video on the iMRS. Now this is called PEMF, which is Pulse Electromagnetic Field Therapy. And one of my goals in this is to show you that this isn't some weirdo, wacky, new agey, energy, whatever. And I think a lot of people do fear those things, especially, unfortunately, in the Christian community. But we don't need to, because there's also, outside of the fact that it's God and He created energy and life force and all things, there's research behind this. This stuff has been researched like you wouldn't believe. There's 10,000 published research studies on this therapy. Astronauts use it. Athletes use it. It should be available to all of us, but you don't hear about it. So we should be using these things to increase our vitality and our life force. So I'm going to just show this little video. It's a 7-minute video, and then I'm going to run through and just kind of talk about the different therapies. Maybe. Yes.
I believe that a modern concept called quantum field theory could possibly shatter the brittle glass separating our subjective experience from outward objective reality. It's really mind-blowing to realize that the Earth's magnetic field and its corresponding PEMFs are as important to our health as food, water, sunlight, and oxygen. It's like this hidden dimension helping us sustain life. In fact, the Schumann and geomagnetic frequencies, the two main components of Earth's PEMFs, are so essential that NASA and the Russian space program equip their spacecrafts with devices that replicate them. These frequencies are absolutely necessary for the body's circadian rhythms, energy production, and most people love this best, keeping the body free from pain. While certainly not intended as a substitute for the recommendations of physicians or other healthcare providers, I want to share some of the practical applications of PEMF therapy. One of the most exciting aspects of my book is what I call the body-mind-earth connection. The Earth's magnetic field and the Schumann and geomagnetic frequencies are roughly in the range of 0 to 30 hertz. Likewise, human brain waves, as established by electroencephalograms, are also roughly 0 to 30 hertz, from delta to theta to alpha to beta. And guess what range the tissues and the healing response in the body, those frequencies that the tissues in your body respond to? Yep, the cells in your body also respond to 0 to 30. And the energies that your body emits are also 0 to 30 hertz. We talk about the body-mind connection, but really it's the body-mind-earth connection. In other words, our tissues, cells, brain, and our bodies are intimately connected to the Earth's frequencies and magnetic field. In my world, those kinds of realizations give us goosebumps. PEMF research and FDA approval. When people first hear about PEMF, they're naturally skeptical. It sounds new agey, magical, right? The good news is there's nothing supernatural about it. And we have a lot of research and support in our corner. PEMF therapy was featured on the Dr. Oz TV show in 2011 as the most important breakthrough in pain management. Pain management is probably the #1 reason that people purchase a PEMF therapy device, like the one my company, Energy Waves, distributes, the iMRS 2000, Intelligent Magnetic Resonance Stimulation. It uses Earth-based Schumann frequencies and has a built-in intelligent biorhythm clock. A new view of the human body. To help you understand why I believe that the field of energy medicine is the future of health and wellness, I want you to think of the human body as you never have before. We have over 100 trillion cells, and there are around 500 billion chemical reactions happening every second in our bodies. That's mind-boggling. Those mainstream models explaining us as mechanistic or biological machines are insufficient to describe our body's majesty and complexity. Energy medicine, quantum biology, and the new understandings in biophysics are giving a whole new picture of the human body as primarily an energetic, holographic field of energy information which communicates via biophotons. The PEMF therapy actually goes along with this new understanding of the human body and can assist the body energetically in healing itself. My passion for this stems from my desire to help people take responsibility for improving their health, rather than letting themselves go through bad living habits and running to medical professionals to solve all their problems. I want to empower people to take their health into their own hands by embracing simple concepts like proper diet, hydration, full spectrum sunlight, proper exercise and sleep, and finding ways to connect with the natural energy fields of the earth. Energizing. Now that we've established that our bodies and minds are intimately connected to planet Earth, we can get into one of the coolest aspects of PEMF. It's a whole body battery recharger. The Energizer Bunny's got nothing on us. Our cells are actually miniature batteries, and we've got 100 trillion of them. In fact, did you know that the word battery is, by definition, a collection of 2 or more cells? When we get sick, our cellular voltage will diminish. There's a direct connection between your health and your cellular voltage. Dr. Otto Warburg did some pioneering research on the connection between cellular voltage and health. He found that healthy cells range between 70 millivolts to 100 millivolts. If you have chronic illness or disease, the voltage starts to plummet. Many chronic illnesses can now have cellular voltages as low as 30 to 60 millivolts, and cancer 20 millivolts or below. Don't you find it interesting that we never hear about heart cancer? That is because the heart is the most energetic organ in our body with 120 millivolts of voltage. That's a lot of power. Here's something to think about. Scientific research has detected that the field from our body extends 15 feet out into space. Not surprisingly, the heart field is going out the farthest. Here are 5 ways in which PEMF recharges our cells. PEMF recharges the transmembrane potential, TMP. That's basically the voltage across the cell membrane. It also increases ATP production in the mitochondria. The TMP and ATP are the 2 primary ways that the cells store energy. PEMF enhances the sodium-potassium pump, so it gives a net positive charge on the outside of the cell. It increases cellular pH. pH is a direct measure of the voltage of your cells. If you have healthy cells, you're going to be slightly alkaline. PEMF helps to oxygenate the cells and helps to lower blood viscosity and improve circulation and microcirculation. Here's another word you might enjoy: electroporation. It means using electricity or magnetism to make cells more porous. PEMF creates a healthy level of this, which allows nutrients to go in the cells more effectively and waste products to go out. I'm proud to say that I have personally helped thousands of people with energy medicine and PEMF therapy devices to achieve pain relief, better sleep, and overall better health.
Pretty cool, huh? So why are we intimately connected to the Earth's frequencies? Can anybody tell us biblically? Genesis 2:7. The Lord God formed man out of dust of the earth. So we are intimately connected with the Earth's frequencies. And the more we're connected to earth, the more we're connected to God, the more we're connected to creation, the higher resonant energy we have. And because we've done things like smoking and alcohol and fast food and junk food and sweets and over-consuming, you know, all of these things, and live inside and pollution, and we're just so disconnected that our voltage is dropping. And again, that's why so many people are sick today. So nutrition, cleansing, awesome. Do those things. Exercise, do those things. It's just another thing you can do to just really increase your life force. The main reason people use the iMRS specifically is for pain and for sleep. They have a specific sleep thing that you can wear over your eyes that actually helps normalize the alpha brainwave patterns. It's amazing for helping people sleep. The pain stories are unbelievable. I mean, people with neuropathy on medication do 3-4 sessions sometimes. They're pain-free and they don't need drugs. I mean, there's so many amazing things out there. It's just really sad that our medical community doesn't use these things. They don't tell us about these things. And, you know, obviously we continue to use drugs. So, but the main thing I like about the iMRS is that it basically is like charging your battery. All those 100 trillion cells is like charging your battery. You can do a live blood cell analysis, and I did this when I worked at a health food store in Las Vegas. You can do a live blood cell analysis and look at people's blood under a microscope and see it clumping and sticking together and not flowing. You can do something like iMRS, and there's other things you can do too. I could tell you what those are, but you can do the iMRS. Literally in 1 minute on that thing, you can do another live blood cell analysis, and none of your blood platelets are stick together, and they're flowing right by each other. And you can get that same effect from being outside, in nature, connected to the earth. Grounding, earthing, it's a similar concept. The earthing mats, the earthing sheets, but this is a more active energy. It's actually magnetic. It's like copper magnetic coils that pulse this energy through the body to charge and heal the body. So that's the iMRS. The other couple things, just because I only have a few minutes, but we got a biomat. The biomat's really neat. It's amethyst crystals. And you heat them up, and it creates basically like a mini infrared session. It's going to have far and near infrared. The gal that I got mine from, and I learned about this from, and I didn't get one when I first met her like 7 years ago, but her name's Linda. She does a breast research awareness. She does thermography for women instead of all, you know, mammograms are so dangerous and invasive, and they're not early detection and all that, but she does the thermograms, and she would have women with breast lumps, cysts, tumors, any kind of abnormal growth, even if it's a lipoma or a ganglion cyst or some of these things. They would lay on that mat, in a few sessions sometimes those things would just disappear. And so there's all kinds of amazing things out there. And so what it does is it heats up your body. So that's the main thing what the amethyst crystal mat does, and, you know, then we'll talk a little bit about the far infrared sauna. But if you think about heat in the body and energy in the body, it's stimulated by heat. It's called thermogenesis. But basically, you can increase heat in the body. You know, just think of a fire. You know, it's just there's a lot of activity around that. You know, cold is constricting and heat is expansive and creates energy. And so by heating up the body and heating up your core body temperature, I mean, how many people, you don't have to raise your hand, but like, how many people are they're cold all the time? They're freezing, their fingers are cold, their toes are cold, they got poor circulation. There's multiple reasons for that. But if you're getting sick all the time, if you have a really weak immune system and every time something comes across you get sick, and every winter you're always getting sick, you probably have a low body temperature. And if you have a low body temperature, you're susceptible to sickness and disease. You're susceptible to infections. Why does the body get a fever? To kill infectious organisms. So if your body temperature is constantly lower than 98.6, you're susceptible to infections. That's why people live with chronic candida, yeast, fungus, mold issues in their body. And they're destroying people's lives. And so you can do a mat session like this and heat up your core body temperature, and it'll kill infection. You're basically inducing a fever. On top of that, it's got negative ions, if you've ever heard of negative ions. Things in nature that God created release negative ions. You can get a Himalayan rock crystal lamp. You know that fresh smell after a thunderstorms go by, and you want to just go outside and you're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Like that smell, like waterfalls, waves crashing on a beach, those are negative ions. Those are it's healing energy. And so you get that release from the amethyst crystal mat. It increases your core body temperature. If you have low thyroid, you need to increase your core body temperature. One of the best things you can do for your metabolism, for weight loss, and you could just go on down the list. So that's the biomat. It's a mat, and you lay on it, and you can do like a 30-minute or a 60-minute session. And again, really good for just issues like surface level issues. Like I said, lumps, tumors, cysts, especially women for like breast lumps and things. But if you have a sprain or a strain, or you just want to promote or speed healing, I gave you a little handout that talks about all the things it does is increasing, helping with pain, arthritis, healing different types of injuries and things like that. So the last thing I want to mention is the sauna, the far infrared sauna, and I'm really pumped about this. The far infrared sauna, I just have to say, yeah, I'm just excited to see people healed and set free. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, so many people are sick and struggling, and we're in bondage. We're in bondage to food, we're in bondage to the medical system and doctors, we're in bondage to the pharmaceutical industry, we're in bondage to so many things, and God just wants to set us free. I love spas. I have friends that own spas. I think they're awesome. But I am way more concerned with a person's internals than they are their externals. And a lot of times we go to spas and we get therapies to look pretty, and that's cool. But what's going on the inside? How healthy are we on the inside? There's plenty of people that look great on the outside and they're really, really sick on the inside. So again, you have to increase your life force, your vitality, your energy. You got to bring that up. And a lot of times with that comes a healing crisis. You might feel sick or cold and flu or get headaches or rashes. I have to talk to people every day about that. Well, I'm doing all the right things and I broke out in this rash. Good. Your body's healing. Praise God. Because your life force is increased to the point where your body can start to throw off poisons and toxins. This is the goodness of a God that created you amazingly. But we don't understand the body. We don't learn about the body. We don't understand what's going on with the body. And so we don't understand what's happening. So a far infrared sauna heals at a deep, deep level. Because what it does is it sends far infrared waves deep into the core of the body that increases your body temperature from the inside out. And so what that does is that creates heat inside the body. And one of the reasons I'm so excited about this is it can heal somebody of anything. It doesn't matter if you have heavy metal toxicity, if you have chemical poisoning, if you have an infectious issue, that heat will heal all of those things. Dry heat is one of the best things for like mold and fungus and candida and yeast. You know, how do you have a moldy basement? You have to have water. You have to have moisture. And so dry heat will kill these things. But one thing that's really important to understand, all toxins in the body are lipophilic. That means they store in fat cells. All toxins in the body store in the fat. They've researched this. The fat cells of your body can have upwards of 1,000 times more toxins and poisons than in your blood. And so we don't know how toxic we are. And so when you get heat, it breaks loose those toxins. The example I give people is like, if you have a greasy pan, are you washing it in hot water or cold water? Right? Heat displaces fat. And so you want to lose weight, you want to detox. You know, these far infrared saunas are used, people that know about it, like veterans that come over from the wars, and they have PTSD and all kinds of issues. Yeah, there's trauma involved, but a lot of that is the toxic poisons from chemical warfare that happens during wartime. Those atrocious poisons used during warfare destroy people's lives and their families. And you can detox from that stuff. You get in a far infrared sauna and you sweat that stuff out. It really, really works. So I just felt like it's time for us to move beyond, and again, nutrition's crucial, it's everything. Exercise, I love all those components. I'm glad we're bringing those in. I'm still always going to promote cleansing, but anything we can do to accelerate healing and set people free and not have to have people on medications and getting sick all the time and going to the doctor all the time, because that wasn't God's intention for any of us. But again, we're so far separated. Just 1 minute at the end, we'll do it if you want to have a question. We're so far separated from creation and design, and we don't realize how consumed we are by the influences of this world. We just really don't. And so just really encourage people to look into these different therapies, and you can read the list of what it does. Detoxification, I mentioned that, pain relief, weight loss. I did a whole class on weight loss, and I said, you don't have to buy any products. Don't even buy anything here. I don't care. You need to eat right, and I talked about the diet for that, support your thyroid and your hormones, and get in a far-infrared sauna. It doesn't matter why you're overweight, you will lose weight. It's impossible not to lose weight if you do those things. You don't have to count calories and fat grams and eat all that stuff. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You just got to embrace these good things that God gave us. Circulation, skin health, blood pressure, there's a bazillion benefits to the far-infrared sauna. But we're excited for them. We have the Amethyst crystal mat and the iMRS set up in there. The far-infrared sauna is going to be going in here. It delivers in about 3 weeks. It's called a Signature 4. It can fit 4 people, so you can have a party in the sauna. Bring your friends and family. It's really cool, actually, because it's over 6 feet long, so it can actually recline. It has a thing that goes up, and you can put your legs over and recline on it. So we were like, hey, let's spoil ourselves a little bit and get a cool one. So that's coming in about 3 weeks. But what we wanted to offer today, we already have discounts if you buy like 6 sessions or 12 sessions of like the iMRS or the mat or the far-infrared sauna. Today, if anybody's like, ooh, I just want to do this right away, you can buy a 6-pack or a 12-pack, and we're going to give you an extra 10% off. So like 12 sessions is 20% off. You can actually get 30% off if you just want to go for it. The sauna's not here, but it'll be here in about 3 weeks. But you could go ahead and pay for the sessions and just do them at your leisure. Okay, so that's really it. I'm probably over time. Wow, I covered a lot in 30 minutes. That was good. But yeah, if we have a onesie, twosie questions, but we got another session that needs to start in about 10 minutes. So somebody had their hand up over here first. Yeah.
Regular heating pad, how is this different?
The Amethyst crystal mat? Yeah, so heating pad's great. It's heat, and that's going to bring warmth and blood flow to an area. But the crystals are what release the negative ions. That's what's going to give the far infrared, which is going to be the healing energy that's going to penetrate deeper into the core and induce and stimulate a sweat deeper inside the body to release toxins and poisons. Heating pad's just going to be surface level heat.
So then, in turn, how do they do microwaves? Like they cook from the inside out? It makes me think of that. Why is it safe or different? Or is it similar?
Well, it's the waves. Those are EMFs. Those are electromagnetic frequencies. Those are toxic waves. I stopped the thing, but if you want to watch that video, it's on YouTube. The whole next thing he goes into is the good frequencies and the bad frequencies. He goes into the microwaves and the cell phones and don't live near a cell phone tower. And he goes into all of that stuff and how you can protect yourself from those things. Because there's good frequencies in energy, and there's obviously the bad frequencies in energy. So we got to learn what those are. Yeah.
Think a moment versus the infrared sauna versus the near infrared?
Yeah, so near versus far infrared. Far infrared, it's the wavelengths that travel into your body. Okay, it's not the heat heating you up from the outside. That's what like those heat saunas do, like that has the coals or the steam saunas or whatever. This is far infrared waves penetrating deep into the core. So a far infrared is going to penetrate deeper. It's going to be a deeper detox at the core of the body. And again, to detox metals or chemicals or any kind of deep level detox, you really, really want far infrared. Near infrared, you're going to get, it's more surface level infrared, and so very good for the skin. So if you have an injury, if you have a sprain, if you have a strain, if you have acne, if you have any, eczema, if you have any skin condition, the near infrared is going to be beneficial for that. With the far infrared sauna, you get far and a little mid-infrared, which is kind of a mid-range one. With the Amethyst crystal mat, you get a lot of near-infrared sauna directly from those crystals, but it'll penetrate deep enough to give you far infrared as well. That's what's cool about the Amethyst crystal mat. So if you have something more surface level, skin or sprain, strain, injury, bruise, whatever, do the Amethyst crystal mat. If you want deep, if you want weight loss, if you want deep cleansing at the core of the body and heavy detox, then it's more the far infrared sauna. Yes?
So how many sessions would it take for results?
Depends on what your goal is.
Okay, if you just wanted to detox, for instance, like 2, 3, 6.
I can't say that. I can say if you sweat, you're releasing toxins. I don't know how many toxins you have.
So would you guys recommend based on what we're asking?
Yeah, I mean, we could have a conversation about it and be like, hey, this is my goal. I want to lose weight. What should I try or whatever. I mean, just to give you an example, I had a guy that chronic lung issues, couldn't figure out what was going on. We did some testing, found out how to get arsenic poisoning and a couple other things. And I said, you need to do, I actually encouraged them to buy a far infrared sauna because they didn't live here. And they did that because he needs to do this every day, possibly for a couple of months, to pull heavy metals and deep toxins that, you know, he was a welder for 8 years. He worked in the automotive industry. He's just been around a lot of poisons that's poisoned his body. That person's different than a person who's generally pretty healthy, but they just want to lose 8 pounds. You know what I mean? So it really kind of depends on the situation. But we can talk to people about that. Yeah. Yes.